Hello everyone and welcome to the month of August. I am here with Mr. Stephen Goldsmith for our monthly conversation. This month we're going to kick off by taking a look at July. It was a busy month, really, end of June, July, very busy, a lot of things going on. How did it all come together from your side?
Yeah, and I said this in the last month, Nate. We're starting to turn around. Post Father's Day, for our stores and e-commerce businesses, we went right into semi-annual sale. And semi-annual sale exceeded expectations. And when I say expectations, the point of semi-annual sale is to clear out old merchandise that we don't want, which generates cash for the business, which gives us the cash we need to bring in new merchandise for our future. It actually exceeded our expectations. The other good news is that our chair sales in the month of July, even post semi-annual sale, are doing really, really well. Then we really got serious with our partners at HSN, and then they really did really well. And then I don't have the exact statistics, but I will tell you is the first day of Rock and Recline chair in our stores with very little marketing. The only marketing we did was an email and a store sign. We sold 50 units on the very first day. I have a feeling that had something to do with that the 30 days prior to that, HSN was selling a lot of those chairs. So I really think that July was a very good sign for us, both in stores, e-commerce, and our wholesale partners. And so I'm very pleased with the direction we're going in.
That's awesome. That's a great month. Well, that kind of leads us into, so we launched the Rock and Recline. We've now come out and launched the Gronk Ball with HSN. How are those two products going for us? How's that relationship looking? I
really believe that, and it's kind of an internal joke that I say, I really believe that HSN is an incredible marketing tool for us into the 96 million US homes they broadcast in, and I think they'll do a lot of volume. And that's funny about that is because they're going to do a lot of volume. They'll be our largest wholesale partner in sales. And really the number one goal of HSN is marketing,
nice.
And number two is sales, and they're doing great sales. So they're thrilled with the relationship. And I'll give you a quick little hint. Like, for example, in November, they've decided that they're going to spend a lot of time on our corded neck and back massager. When I say a lot of time, like they're intending to sell 20,000 units in a 24-hour period. So you can only imagine with that kind of exposure, what that will do to our sales in our stores and e-commerce from them selling it, even though it's a product we've had. Gronk Ball will be launching in the stores next week.
Yeah.
I wonder what will happen. And the relationship is going very, very well. And in a perfect world, as we get towards November and we plan 2018, we will really plan this out so carefully as to sometimes we'll launch first with HSN, 30 days later Brookstone stores. Sometimes we'll launch same day. Sometimes it'll be things like the cord neck and back where it's in our stores and then they take it and they drive it even further. And it's a combination of those things as we learn with them, but doing big volume and marketing for us.
That's
so
awesome.
It's great.
That's awesome. Well, I guess that kind of leads us into, there's a lot of buzz kind of around the home office, and we've launched now the Rock and Recline, which was a great launch, and then we came in and launched Gronk, which has been going really strong, and we have like the flavor of two launches in our mouth. What's the next kind of?
And in fact, I'm gonna actually refer to it because I don't want to get it wrong.
Okay, absolutely.
So we had talked about in other monthly meetings. We had said that one of the things that was hurting our performance last year was not having enough new products.
Right.
There's a lot of new products, so let me tell you what's coming. So in the middle of August, we're going to have a new chair, the Energize 3D, will be launching. On September 1st, and specifically September 1st, will be new Star Wars drones and robots. 10-1, a BioSense hidden support pillow. 10-1, a cordless neck and shoulder. 10-1, animal speaker pods. 10-18, a new heated calf and foot massager. 1023, everybody's so successfully selling the Trex bone conduction headphones. It'll be the Brookstone brand with more innovation to it. 11.5, the cordless 3D shiatsu massager. 11.15, a Big Blue Party Extreme. And these are the large A launches that will have tremendous support behind them. But there's a lot of launches coming.
That's awesome. All right, so let's take it from the product side to the people side. I got a question from Michelle, one of our TSMs down in International Plaza, and she was looking at the engagement survey, seeing that the kind of work-life balance was falling to the bottom of the list from their perspective, and was wondering what we're doing to tackle the engagement surveys and that kind of work-life balance.
You know, what the district managers working at the regional vice presidents, working with us in corporate, have done with the associate engagement survey is they really have dove in, and what and they're tackling 2 or 3 things that they can do to the associate engagement survey. So, but let me. Work-life balance doesn't mean less hours of work and more hours of play. That's not what it means, because our associates, just like we love working, we love earning our pay. The frustration really on work-life balance is inefficiency. So what the DMs working with the regionals, working with the stores are doing, they've decided to tackle some inefficiencies. So for example, communications isn't crisp. Communications comes in at all different times, and and you can't predict it. And when the different communications for the stores to do all their activities is an inefficient process. One Brookstone Way, OBW, not efficiently done. Needs some enhancements so that the stores aren't struggling to get the information out of OBW and can use it more efficiently. Those are 2 examples of what they're tackling for the coming year, coming off the associate engagement survey. And if they tackle that, both communications on OBW and communications that come from corporate to the stores for execution, you tackle those 2 things, suddenly work-life balance is a little bit better, because what happens is work is a little more efficient, and you like work better. You like work better. You also can balance it with your life. And so I know I kind of answered it a little funny. I think it comes down to efficiently communicating with you to have the work portion be much more efficient.
All right. Another question coming from actually another one of our TSMs, Tom, down at Salt Lake City International Airport. He had a question about taking phone orders over the phone. Very difficult for him to handle a Prodigy program if someone wants to think about purchasing the Briggs & Riley $1,000 luggage set, and then go home, think about, call him up and would like to make the order, but we aren't able to take the phone order in stores. He's a little concerned about, how can he effectively have a Prodigy program if not able to take those phone calls?
Yeah, so my answer is going to be a little bit long. I don't mean it to be long, but I actually want to break it down into parts. It's a good example, like the Briggs & Riley thing that you mentioned, and Tom, what you're mentioning, Briggs & Riley, it's an important one, because it's rare if someone only has 12 minutes in an airport store to make a decision to buy a $500 or a $1,000 Briggs & Riley thing. That's rare. It's a high consideration purchase. So when I was at the shopping network years ago, someone who was buying a $1,000 Vitamix blender, they don't make it in a five-minute thing. They want to think about it for a period of time. So that's really important, and you're up against the customer not being able to make that decision. So it's highly likely on something like that the customer is going to call and want to phone order it. Okay, hold that thought for a second. Here's the real problem: protecting consumers. There has been so much theft of consumers' credit cards that both the government is trying to protect the consumer, local governments are trying to protect the consumer protection agencies are trying to protect the consumer, so that people will not steal their credit cards. Right. On the dark web, credit cards get sold. So first of all, we're obligated to follow all the laws, but the laws are based in protecting the consumer. So if you think about it, the laws do not want, when Tom talked to the customer for 15 minutes on that $1,000 Briggs & Riley, the customer that gets on a plane and flies home. Now the customer lives in New Jersey, and they just flew to Newark, and they've thought about it for a couple of days, and they want to buy it. They call Tom back up, and they say, I'm ready to buy it. Now, to protect the consumer, we actually don't want to take credit card numbers over a phone, because are they really talking to Tom? Are they not? There's a whole bunch of issues around it. But we want the customer to buy that Briggs & Riley thing. So I think there's a couple of issues of how we handle it in reality of life. I think one is that Tom should stay on the phone with the consumer and say, hey, let's log on to brookstone.com together. Let me show you exactly where to find it on the page, of where to find the Briggs & Riley piece of luggage. Put it in your basket, and if let's say the customer isn't a very web-savvy person, Tom could walk all the way through that process, so the person puts their own credit card on brookstone.com. The second thing Tom can do is, the consumer is protected and we're protected legally if Tom sends the person to the call center to do that. The biggest issue, I think, that we're kind of the elephant in the room in this question, is that Tom spent all this time, energy, and effort selling that piece of luggage, and why wouldn't he get the credit for it versus someone just blindly going to brookstone.com or calling the call center?
Right.
I think that's real. But when it happens, it generally happens on higher end goods, higher end headphones, higher end luggage, high priced goods. And when it happens, and Tom has spent all this time, energy, effort, and then the person transacts on brookstone.com, I think Tom should tell his district manager. I think I should find out of this great thing. And I think there's a way, I know systematically it's hard to give the credit, but I want to make sure Tom gets all the credit he deserves, rightfully so, by the way,
Right.
and of selling that. And I think we should communicate every time we go over and above for a customer to help them on a phone order that we can't technically take ourselves. And it's not even about investing in the Prodigy system. It's literally credit card and consumer fraud that we're protecting against. But I want Tom to get the credit for it. So here's the thing. Peacocks, people only know about peacock's feathers when they spread them. So let's make sure that we all know that Tom in Salt Lake City or anybody at McCarran or at JFK, they sold that piece of luggage by helping the customer all the way through. I want to know about it, actually. And I know that's not the exact answer you want, but it's also, we have to balance protecting consumers and satisfying them completely with their Brookstone purchase.
Absolutely. And I mean, we're still well on our way to making the company a one company, one sales mentality.
Completely.
And bringing the systems to support that behind it.
Correct. Absolutely right. In the end, that person is going to come through Salt Lake City again, is going to remember that experience, and is going to give us more credit and loyalty and buy from us many times over because of it.
Absolutely. All right, so let's take a look. We're in August.
Yes.
Now through essentially Labor Day. How's things looking and playing out for you?
Yeah, I think fairly well. We had a little dip in sales the past few days, but our chair sales still remain very strong. And the other thing is, August is a busy month setting up, like I just discussed all the launches we have. August is shaping up pretty well. It's also shaping up well for our wholesale partners. And we're much further ahead this August than last August. So I am actually more than just a little hopeful. I think we're actually generating the cash we need for our business, which is really important going into fourth quarter.
That's awesome. Perfect. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time this
Great.
month. We'll see everyone again come September. Thank
Perfect.
you.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.